All right, when I saw this question, I thought it's animal cruelty, because the value here is actually pretty big, 9,500 votes. But actually, when you do the calculation, you realize that while it's still animal cruelty, but the electric fence does not aim to kill the cow. It's meant to give the cow a tiny bit of a shock to get it away from the fence lah. So I'm not endorsing this in any way, but it's just what the values for current tell us later on. So what is the average charge in these cows? We use V equal to W over Q. We know that the voltage is 9,500 volts in the question. The energy for every pulse is 6 joules, and with that you can calculate Q, the charge. If each pulse in part B, given a timing of 53 milliseconds, use the I equals to Q over T formula. Be very careful of your milliseconds. By now you should be able to do this properly. So 10 to the power minus 3 seconds. Plug in the answer to part A and you can get this answer, roughly 12 milliamperes as the current, which is actually very small. So resistance of the cow's body to current flow, and use resistance being the ratio of V is to I. The voltage is 9,500. The current passing through the cow is 12 milliamperes, and this ratio gets you a super high resistance actually of the cow. So how come the animal is not harmed by electric shock even when the voltage is like 9,500 volt, a very high number? Because of this, the resistance of the cow is actually quite high, and therefore this results in the electric current that flows past the cow to be very small. 12 milliamperes is a very small amount. And something additional to know, what actually harms is actually the current. If the current that passes through is very high, it will burn up the object. It will cause a severe heating effect. It will burn up the object. It will wreak havoc on your nervous system also. So what actually sort of kills or harms organisms is actually the high current that flows past. In this case, is a case in point because there is a very high voltage. A high voltage usually will tend to drive a very high current, but because the cow has super high resistance, so even when the cow is exposed to a very high voltage of 9,500 volts, the high resistance of the cow actually blocks a lot of the electric current. It impedes the flow of current, resulting in a very small current that doesn't quite harm the cow.